and it's the Ferris wheel versus well, they're both Ferris wheels. A Ferris wheel versus a plane. If you're in a virtual plane and the indication, the dial of where we go in that reality, up or down, as far as the space that we're in, and it's tied together directly to our emotions and our cognitive, our feelings. Say we're at it's like a party, and if everybody gets sad, then it starts to rain and thunder, and there's dead orgone in the air. It's like a gloomy day. It's that feeling of basically energy draining. It's low energy. And so knowing this, we say, let's cheer up, and we put on good music or whatever it is, not corrupted music, probably just harmonious sounds or something, or birds chirping or something like that. But even birds chirping are artificial in this place if this is a dimensional mirror of the real world. It's more like a prop to keep us here. And so we cheer up, and then it goes into clearing up, and it's like a sun shower, and it feels great. And then it's a sunny day, and it's like a day at the beach where you have to, basically everybody gets out of the house. They have to go out. It's too good to stay inside, and even though we were having a good time, and it just gets better and better. So it would be like a plane where we're tied into the plane itself. The environment is tied into the back end, the spirit, the feeling, the invisible frequencies that run it. So then we have, that's like the Ferris wheel. If the pod or whatever it is, the little thing, floated around and it just went wherever in the universe it went based upon how the people in that society felt. Then you have the Ferris wheel concept, which is kind of like the theory of a physical plane, that in the sense that we're in now. And maybe it's like that anyway, but if we get into a cycle, a sign pattern where we keep repeating these things over and over, it becomes materially manifest. And now we have to have a gloomy day today because we did the same pattern, so-and-so argue with whatever, because greed or these sins, basically. What are called sins? It's just like, if it's in a program, it's just something in a program. And now we're stuck every 3 days doing these cycles where it goes up and down. And we're in time at that point. It's just oscillation. All you need is two oscillations or two states, and sort of how they're managed. And we're in time at that point. And now getting to a different place, say we want to go to another state where it's sunny and it's not doing this rain pattern. It's not getting up and going there physically, it's correcting our minds. And if it's too heavy, too difficult to do that, it's like being trapped in a specific place. If we get into the pattern of turning that magic carpet that goes wherever into something like a Ferris wheel where it's on a track and it's going to go according to a pattern, do we need a physical universe? Does somebody have to make a planet system or the cartoon concept of the universe inside of a box, inside of a system or something that can be managed by guys on the outside, big giant guys looking in? Do you have to do that to make it? Or is that just some extra system or an artificial or a auxiliary, like a porting system or something that you can add into the universe and modulate stuff? Or is it that if whatever we're doing as these feelings and thoughts, if we get into a cycle where we repeat the same thing, we have to do it again, like now it's solidified, it's a real thing. And imagine the only way we could do the same thing is if the down cycle is sustained and we continuously build up entropy until we cause so-called rainstorms, so to speak, over and over again. And there would be more. So getting stuck in that would be if there's more, then we can figure out how to solve with the energy and the time that we have and the circumstances that are involving the minds in there. The entropy, the argument, whatever it is, compatibility. So it would become programmatical by way of not maintaining a certain level of novelty or freeness. We all want to go to this square here. We all want to go to whatever system over here, like we're playing hopscotch. We want to go. If part of our collective is compartmentalized and then stuck in, it's not totally argumentative because at first it's just disruption, or it's just like a pause or delay or something like that. But it would be like an argument in the collective consciousness of that system. And so that portion that would want to move upwards to a sunny day or something can't, because it can't outweigh it, and then you get like a shared half rainstorm, if you will. So through that, naturally, the entropy of the situation, which if it's like a Sims game, the entropy could be the efficiency in how someone walks, how you make eggs or take out the trash. That's all very relative, but the core of that is consciousness or personality. So in a certain system. It's like a closed circuit. Wherever there's a cycle, wherever there's society and people or minds or souls interacting, there's a level of compatibility, and there's a potentiality for chaos, basically, or bad days, bad experiences, and there's a potentiality or a power level and adaptability for, depending on how well they are in that sense, to put it simply, for converting that into long-term sustainability, where there's cohesion, like a cohesion or cohesiveness between the minds that enables interaction or interactivity that allows them to experience novelty equally without cutting each other out because they can't do it in a compatible manner. And one is a functional society, one is dysfunctional. The idea is that the concept of a physical world, or the world being physical, could be, in this sense, a world that we fell from that high level of freeness and novelty in a kind of more spiritual environment where there is no repeating senses, because there is no repeating nature of anything, because it's not required. It's literally totally free radially from every point of contact, that it can change in a way that is totally. But we don't lose our minds. We don't lose the continuity. We don't forget ourselves. If we had to change every day here as powerfully and complexly as you do over your entire life, we would all go insane. We're not formatted for it. Either that, or any group can do it, and we can set off little societies and do that and experiments or something like that. But it's just we have to be strong enough and willing to get through that entropy level and so on. But the idea is that that's all programmatical. It's built in. It's how it works. What's going on. It could be an abstraction. It's what is the meaning? Why are we here? And we're supposed to make this, we're supposed to do that. We could be here because we forgot to not be here, to keep up our novelty, to not get caught up, to work the process out. And maybe somebody sent a party pooper over to go ruin everybody's day. And it's something. The whole point is, it's so strange. If it is that way, then there would be, it's basically perfection. To hold people accountable, say there was a party poop or something like that, which you could also do that as a precipitation point through which you can crystallize a new reality by kind of fomenting that, or not scapegoating necessarily, but cathartically passing through certain intense energy levels and basically burning off all this slag, all our pains and foolishness and hubris and so on. So to hold people accountable for something like that, which could serve a function in a way that would be functional outside of the society more than it would be inside the society. It's like a inside-out operation kind of thing, or maybe outside-in from that point of view. But basically, in order to actually say we got him, this is the Buddha, this is the meaning, well, we found the meaning, this is the meaning, and it's the negative. We'd have to ascend out of this reality, go back to the completed state of mind that occurred before we fell from novelty, somehow bring this perception, which only exists in the form that we're basically in a daydream, in a collective daydream. If the upper form is so much more powerful, so much more intense, and the knowledge makes it just like a being going from one dimension or that they're in to a higher state, turns a thought into everything we could process in our entire lifetime in a single moment in the higher dimensional state of what we are, it changes things. So what I'm trying to say is, from that completed state of mind, there is no way to realize the totality or the experience of the concept of what makes the lesser state rationalized or valid. Because again, the only way to get there is if we're in a collective state, but as well individual, and we interact in this mental fashion in a place, and then it literally is never the same experience twice. And when it works, it's just that's what happens, which is kind of it works basically. At first, it's kind of weird because it's well, how do we know anybody? How do we remember? It's like being in a sea of fish or something like that. But it's people, and eventually we literally adapt to have I don't know, 1,000 day, minute, second memory, which is like a 9-dimensional mind or something, where you have 9 thoughts for every thought we have here, which is basically what we have here as something that basically gifted that to us, which might be something revving us up dimensionally so that we can experience that if we didn't have the power levels. Otherwise, like somebody going to, some colony or something like that and gifting them the ability to do certain things, which also in the fallen method is somebody that was here before and is just coming around to gather people and give you trinkets and make you think that it's something good. Or it's the one trying to get them to cycle up, coming back in 2,000 years and seeing if you're better, then giving you more, testing your minds, and coming back to give you more until they can run at a high level, in which case they can create their own reality and navigate out of a material, physical form, which is broken in a kind of, like this society's in a rut. And I don't mean that physically, because it's not. I mean that it's too hard. And I don't mean that in a difficulty sense. I mean that it's literally too dense. It's difficult. If you're in a ship and you're flying through the universe and you get to here, you're going to slow down and hit like a barrier or a wall because it's collapsing in on itself. It's dense with the amount of entropy, the weight that we have. You make it so real that nothing works. It's like there's no even magic or something. We wanted it to be real, so we slowed things down, but now it's so real that we're almost frozen to the rest of the universe. And in that sense, it's so solid and it's so real or so physical that we've created so many patterns that are basically stored like memory in this system that are potentially incompleted cycles, or in other words, we started so many and they all have to complete themselves or finish, that the cycle itself, instead of just going on to something else, it's lasting almost forever, perception-wise. So we bent some signals a little bit out of range, and like the bandwidth is not matching the frequencies that we require, meaning we don't have a wide enough channel to fit the boat of our consciousness through. So we're kind of stretching and literally like somehow molecular compacting, which in a way works, but it's doing this hyperspace cat thing, which I will post, where it's like we're stretching out and going like a trip or something and going through this portal. But it's literally just instead of at the airport where you have the accelerated walkways, it's the opposite, and all of reality and consciousness down to the atoms themselves are doing it. Meaning our thoughts slow down, which also means we don't know it. But the idea is we got to pick it up, and we're going to get faster, and the sun's going to come out, we're going to put music on. If that doesn't happen, it's just going to freeze. It's literally just going to freeze like a ship, or the Snow Train movie from back. All the stories of everything are wrapped up in the movies, and as well, if we're in a system that is utilizing fraction, or like if our consciousness is being fractalized, and say we would require more people in the system for it to equivocate 8 or 9 individual societies that are powerful enough to represent the whole and make it back to completing that cycle, basically with the bandwidth or the amount of energy or something, then maybe there's not enough soul or something like that. It might be that the fractalization process itself, just like the materialization process itself, results in that. Maybe fractalization is the result of over-materialization, where it became so hard that it compressed and compacted into itself, and it literally refracted its own light, if you will, which would basically be like a mountain or a sinkhole, a reverse mountain, a sinkhole that sunk so hard that it created an even denser sinkhole at the bottom of it, which is like we're getting these kind of mind-numbing cascade vanishing points of consciousness into descending and ascending intensity and frequency levels, or again the bandwidth, the narrow, basically the amount of light in that bottom area. If we can all see, it's still there. There's light there, but it's so much reduced that if we were to go up to the top, like the Brazil or where was it? I think it's one place in China, a huge open. There's actually all over the world, like a sinkhole that must have like ripped open in like thousands of years ago, and then there's like a ecosystem of rainforest down in this sinkhole that lets light in and goes on and on and on to the point where it's like 7 miles long or something, and it goes on forever, and there's all types of animals and plant life, let alone all the other life. But if you took something way down in there and brought them up, they would be blinded. And we've all heard that, reflection, the cave. But if it's not light, if it's the amount of consciousness our neurons can handle for the amount of soul in the body and society and world Ferris wheel, template, we've ended up driving into a groove because it's entropy based. It would be like seeing and experiencing the world for the first time in every moment, as much as complete lifetimes were at the bottom of that pit. So that's part of the concept of dimensionality, that the power levels increase the scope of that which we can see. So it's basically the same as a mountain. You go higher, harder to breathe at first, but you can see farther. When you go up, you're like, I can climb that. You have no idea the first time how hard it is to go up a mountain. And I'll just see things higher. It'll be, like looking out the window of the house, and you go up and it's like a different world. Like you're a different being in a different universe, the way you could see things differently. It's almost like a cone of perception expanding out and giving you more through this exponential bent perceptual intake system that exponentially enhances itself the more you see, rather than just a simple, there's this much data that I could see now, like I'm looking this further down a hallway or 2 or 3 doors down or whatever it is. You look radially circly off of a view, and you go, a couple thousand feet up or more. Higher is better. It is a spiritual experience. It is a mind-changing experience. It is an extra dimensional experience. The same thit's as, going through adolescence and experiencing the world and people and society, love and pain and struggle and all that. It's the same thing. But that one's more like a ladder or a staircase that we're navigating as we go. It's actually a stairmaster where we can throttle down and go slower, and it might make the stairs longer though. Or we can go faster and they're steeper, but there's less stairs. So it's this navigable system, just like the airport thing. The mountain is like that. We are in that mountain, but it's upside down. And we're in a pit climbing up that way. Anyway, just a metaphor for how it works, and then breaking down the concept of the materiality in a maybe not a new way, but a way that's easier for me to understand now. Thank you. We're supposed to be able to cognitively ascend to the stars, but we have to all focus on the same things at once. In other words, we have to pick what star we're going to go to and project our consciousness there. And we have to use the full force of the entire society, the entire collective, together as one, or we'll either not go to where we want to go or go nowhere, which is like a failed ascension, and the planet kind of stagnates. And we have to go to there's not really a plan B, but there's other dirtier means of getting to the truth if we hide from it in order to get to where we need to be cognitively without stagnating or destroying each other, like ripping ourselves collectively apart, which is also not possible. It's just the fact that we could delay so long that we waste our energy and we allow it to be redirected by people using mind games into areas that don't serve us towards that same goal, and either are deliberate circle games in society, or they are intentionally going to a place that we don't want to be as a collective, with or without our knowledge, but mainly through manipulation. Whereas if it's with our knowledge and people are doing it, is that so much of a different issue? They're choosing to do it. They want to do it. It's when they get other people that don't want to be involved and so on, or the whole world dealing with power levels that we're not really aware of. And at that point, people need to have access to the information so they can make a choice, so they can choose for themselves. Which also comes into being as part of the kind of later phases of managing a society through trauma-based mind control, which is basically putting it lightly. If it comes to a point where so many people are going to know and a choice has to be made, or any more overt action violates that kind of free will law, eventually it comes to be that the only option, is for people to know, to inform them, for both sides to avoid that outcome, or for those who are trying to gain it, they're still forced to go the route where they have to convert them basically and tell them. And it's done through deception, where it's done by telling them without telling them, in so many words. Showing them the truth while misdirecting them so that they're manipulated in a way that they only believe they're being shown the truth. And they would have to find out either the hard way or by asking questions and rejecting the illusion beforehand.
I like calling them dream visions. I really don't like the weighted function of mentioning a specific book. Dream visions happen, but it is something that happens. So I have